Women naturally like to test the masculine, especially in new relationships. Now, when we test them, we're testing them to see, are they devotional? Are they someone that can honor us? Can they speak openly? Can they express their emotions, their desires to want you, their interests in you? Will they support you on lots of levels that you need? Now, a lot of the time, this testing will go away when we meet a man who really shows their honor, their devotion to you, their love. They can speak openly and communicate. If you have this ability to continue to test them, you're not connecting into yourself to actually ask, what is it that I need? Why am I testing them? What am I feeling here? Am I feeling insecure? Is my intuition flagging me and I'm actually not recognizing those feelings within us? When we start to actually get curious in ourselves and start to recognize, oh, I'm wanting to test them. I'm calling them forward. What am I calling them forward for? What do I need? If you can learn what this need is and openly express this and communicate this with men, you're going to actually start to create more healthier relationships. And you're also going to actually recognize, are these people aligned to you? The hardest thing is that women have on a collective level learned to test, and that is part of the feminine way. But if we're overdoing this, we're not recognizing our needs and whether they're met. We are continually trying to call someone forward that may not be able to come forward. A lot of the time when we meet deceptive men, which are commonly known as players, they play with your heart. They like to play games, and you're engaging in the games by testing them. And they might tell you something that sounds great, but their actions aren't aligning. Their integrity is not aligning. And you intuitively know this, but you still keep going back. You still keep playing in the game and into the pattern, right? When we start to see that actually we feel unsafe and that we want to keep testing them and we're not able to communicate, that we have these insecurities and these head stories coming up, all these things that come up when we are actually playing in a game with somebody that is not aligned to us or is not in integrity, is not going to be devotional to you, you need to recognize this, because you are actually allowing yourself to continue to play in the game of getting hurt. And that's not a healthy thing. If we are able to connect into ourselves and speak this place and find somebody that is actually there to listen and there to step up and there to continue to create a healthy relationship with you, these are beautiful things. So our ability to test the masculine, test, are they aligned? Are they going to meet us where we need to be? And also that our intuition is flagging us, that we might actually be engaging in someone that is deceptive, that is playing us, that we might actually have an unmet need, that we want to, continue to seek a relationship, yet we're anxious. And we have an anxious attachment style and we're not being able to really express how we feel to feel safe in that relationship. Because, anxious attachment styles can be very much about ourselves and not always the men. So really actually recognizing these things around our ability to test can change and cultivate really beautiful relationships. They can also show us if we're engaging in a relationship that is not honoring and not going to be a healthy connection. So learning to do this. Remember that you deserve love. You are love. You deserve someone that's devotional. You deserve someone that can speak openly and honestly. But you need to also hold that within yourself. You need to be able to not just play games around testing them, but openly communicate so that they can have the option to step up. And if they're not going to step up, well, that's up to you or them, and as to whether you guys feel that this relationship should continue. So learning how to see our ability to test is massive. I know I've engaged in these relationships before where they actually weren't devotional and my intuition was flagging me. And yet I was continually testing them, continually trying to call them forward. And they'd fail the test. Yet I still engaged in the game because they were players and I still had this unrecognized part of me that I hadn't been honoring within me. And when I started to honor that and honor what my needs were and get curious about myself, I actually called for better and healthier relationships because I could speak into that space. And therefore I'm attracting men that can speak into that space as well. who can communicate, and they don't want to play games. They actually want to neutralize that space. They're not interested in a woman who wants to engage in testing behaviors. If you continue to play with men who do play games, you will get more wounded. You will feel that the collective is full of it. And yes, a lot of these wounded men are being called forward, but so are the women. We are being called forward to engage in healthier ways and healthier relating. We are being called forward into more divine unions, better levels of relating. But that is by relating better with ourselves and recognizing our own patterns and our own interactions in these relationships. So you deserve an honoring relationship. So do men. And to do that, we must be honoring of ourselves and honoring of our needs and honoring of our feelings and not allowing things to play out unconsciously. Start to recognize your intuition is flagging you. Start to recognize what your needs are and start to be able to communicate those things. So I hope that helps you guys today, because when I really realized this piece around testing, and the flags were there for so long, but because they were deceptive, I would let their words override these feelings, these intuitive knowings that I had deep down inside, and they continued to not meet me where I wanted them to meet me. And even if I spoke into those things around my needs, eventually I just recognized that they were not aligned to me. And, you know, it's sad that there is so many deceptive people out there, and that's men and women. And there's sadness that women will play games and will test you. It's both ways here. It's not one or the other. But if we are engaging in a testing relationship, there's usually things that we need to recognize, whether it's about them or whether it's about us and our ability to communicate. So I really hope you guys get something from today's piece. Understanding that the woman will naturally test. It is a natural feminine way, but it will get neutralized in the right relationships. And also if we have that internal relationship with self. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, and that you really are deserving of a beautiful, healthy, devotional, loving relationship that is supportive and can communicate and express their needs.